Hello, hello, hello. Welcome
Hey
back to the Rich
guys.
Aunties podcast, a space where we
Yes.
celebrate being rich as a state of mind and not just a bank account. How you doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen. How are we doing? Are we surviving the
Hi.
day?
We are surviving. Look, we are surviving the day. And, we always talk about how our weeks have been and what's going on. So we're going to jump right
Mm-hmm.
to that because we were both at the
Yeah.
same function last night.
Yeah,
Getting our two
girl.
stepping a dip on, honey, and we thinking we
Yep.
grown and we
Them
tired.
knees and them legs, child. They'll tell on
Okay.
you. They gonna
Yeah,
tell
they
on you.
will. They will. But we had a time last
Yes.
night. But I'm definitely
Shout out to
paying for you.
Daphne.
Yes, happy birthday. It's what
Yes.
5:35, and we're just starting to record. And my energy battery is at probably a solid 45%.
And she pushing through.
I'm pushing through. I am pushing through. I had my first day of orientation for the new real estate group today. I've been like onboarding, it feels like, for like 3 weeks, but they have an official
Mm.
onboarding process, and I'm just starting it. I just started it today. So I have today, it's part of tomorrow, kind of, sort of, Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
then Thursday, Friday, the salon, and then next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So my next couple of days are going to be kind of busy. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bed on time
Yes, amen.
tonight.
Amen.
But other than
Yes.
that, I had a good weekend. What else did we do this
Mm-hmm.
weekend? I know we weren't together all this
What's
weekend. We
church?
saw. Okay, I didn't see you on Saturday, so I went to church.
No,
I went to
yeah.
Seabrook. You went
Mm-hmm.
to DC
My
Community.
district community, yes, girl. I love
Yeah,
my church. My membership
amen.
transfer went through.
Ac- Oh, you official. You official, honey. Okay,
Yes, yes. I'm
that's
very excited.
good.
How was Seabrook? I
Okay.
kind of watched a little bit of it while I was getting ready.
Seabrook was good. I
Mm-hmm.
love Pastor Damian Johnson. I really do. And now, like I told you before, I'm conflicted. Like, I need to join a church. I need to find a church home, and I don't know what to do because I really do. I do love Pastor Graham, but I feel like I have a history with the
Mm-hmm.
Pastor Johnson, even though we didn't like a super personal relationship, but he was my
Yeah.
pastor for years at that church. So I need to finalize my membership. I'm gonna make a choice because I'm going to church again on
Yeah.
Saturday. I'm gonna go back. It is very convenient. It's like literally like
Yeah.
not even
And
10 minutes away from my house.
sometimes, listen, sometimes that's a deciding factor right there. Can I make
Convenience,
it?
right? Right.
Okay. Trying to
And I
tell
made it
you.
right on time, baby. I made it right on time.
Okay.
The praise
You made
team
praise
was
and
still
worship too?
lit. The praise team was still lit when I walked in the door. When I walked in
Yes.
the door, and it was communion, so it was a good Saturday.
Yeah.
It was a good. I don't remember what I did
Awesome.
Saturday night. Oh, I went
You
to a
probably
party. I went to
hopefully
a pool
sleep.
party. No, I
Oh,
went to a
girl, you
pool
was
party. That's why I'm beat.
outside.
Yes, I went to
Yeah.
a pool party Saturday night and didn't get home till about like 12:30
Mm-hmm.
ish. Then I had to turn around, get right back up the next day, do hair at the salon. Then
Mm-hmm.
I met one of my teammates to help him show houses in Germantown and Gaithersburg. And
Mm.
then I had to come home, get ready for Daphne's party, and then
Yeah.
go to Daphne's party, and then get home until 11:30,
Two in the
12. Can't
morning.
go to sleep till 2.
Oh.
No, I got home. I can't go to sleep till 2.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So I'm beat. But enough about me.
yeah.
I had to get that off my chest.
Yeah.
I had to get that off my
Listen,
chest,
this is a safe
girl.
space. It's a safe space,
Mm,
honey. We need to plan
mm,
you a vacation. Even if it's
baby.
just something local,
Yeah, I
something.
know. I need a
You need to be on a
vacation.
beach.
I
Yeah.
need a in Jeezy voice. I need a vacation. I have one brewing. I do have one brewing. I'm not gonna talk
Okay.
about it right now, but I have one
Sure, sure,
brewing.
sure.
So
Okay, good.
hopefully it goes the way I'm planning it to go, because that
Mm-hmm.
will be in August. So
Okay.
I just need to
Cool.
hold on tight to August. Mm,
Amen.
mm, mm, mm.
Well, my Sabbath, I officially decided I'm gonna start doing Sabbath vlogs and make that like
Yes.
a thing that I do consistently. So, um, I just posted my second one on TikTok
Okay.
because for whatever reason, Instagram, anything longer than 2 minutes, it has issues, and I don't like
Okay.
that. So it's gonna be on
Because
TikTok and
Instagram is
YouTube.
dying slowly.
Girl,
I feel like
you don't
it
say nothing but a
is.
word.
I feel like it is.
there are so many levels to that because it's like they're not showing people the things that they want to see, and they're making so many
Yeah,
changes that people didn't
algorithm.
ask
Trash.
for. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be on TikTok and on YouTube. But District Community was really nice. The new pastor is really cool. He be speaking some relatable messages.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the message that he presented on Sabbath was about like what actually is the mission of the church supposed to be, because he was like, when he was younger and first the eye roll, when he was younger and first started getting into the church with his parents, he was like, this place just seems like it has a bunch of rules of things that I can't do. And
Can't do.
most of those things are fun. I can't go to the movies. I can't wear certain clothes. I can't listen to certain music. Like, what are we doing here? And then he went into it was Luke, I forget the chapter, but it was a story about when Jesus, when he had first started his ministry. Not me giving a whole. Okay, I got two
Amen.
more minutes. We gonna get whole Bible Bible lesson, Bible study right now. When Jesus had first got started with his ministry, he went back home to Nazareth, and
Mhm.
Nazareth was like the hood. It was like Southeast DC. That's where he grew
Okay.
up, in the hood. Okay, so he goes back home to the hood, and the people are looking like him, looking at him like, is that Jesus? We heard that he, was out here doing some stuff,
Mhm.
but that's him for real. And so Jesus does what he does. He goes to church on Sabbath and he
Amen.
stands up. Okay, he stands
Amen.
stands up, opens the scroll, and
Mhm.
goes to Isaiah and reads out the prophecy that's actually about him, about
Okay.
how the Messiah is coming and what his purpose and what his mission actually is to
Mhm.
um, come to the poor and uplift them, to give freedom to the people that are in prison, etc. And he was
Mhm.
like, and Pastor Vargas was like, this is the mission of the church. It's not to isolate people and tell
It's
them what to
not.
do, what not to do. It's very, very
It's
clear.
never been that.
Ever. And I
It's
was like, you
never
know
been
what?
that.
You're right. You're right. So I enjoyed it. I went to jerk at night
Mhm.
afterwards. Then I went
Okay.
home because I was like, I know Sunday gonna be a time. So then
Okay.
Sunday, I went to my parents' church because they were having a food sale to
Okay.
help raise funds for the youth, for their youth retreat that they're doing in September. They're trying to make it so
Okay.
nobody has to pay or have to pay very minimal.
Yeah.
So they raised a lot of money there. And then I came home,
Good.
sat down for 2 seconds, got ready, made it to the function. We survived the function. And
And
here
we
we
had
are.
a time.
We had a time. We did have a
We had
time.
a time last night. Child, we had a
Oh,
time.
that was so
It was a
fun.
time well needed, though. It was a time well needed.
Yes,
I was so
absolutely.
excited and happy. Like I was crying heavily on Daphne's
Mm.
birthday. Here goes my little story.
Oh,
Um, Crying heavily on her birthday. You know, you just sit down and reflect, and you're very like humble to a certain extent in the moment,
yeah.
or you're just reflecting. Like me and her have been through a lot. Like she still gets on my nerves. We still fight
Of
and
course, y'all like
bicker.
sisters.
We go back and forth, but we challenge each other. We
Mm-hmm.
check each other when we're wrong. And we hold each other accountable. And I'm very blessed to have her as a friend. We didn't have to
Mm-hmm.
be in this space. So seeing her come in yesterday, all happy because she's had. I
So
could tell her.
happy the whole
I'm not gonna.
time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell her a story, but she had a moment when she turned 30 that wasn't as pleasing, and that was a milestone birthday. So to see
Mm-hmm.
us get to 40 and a milestone birthday party actually go the way as planned. She's super
Yeah.
happy. She's cheesing. She had a great time.
Yes,
So
she did.
I was like, as long as she's happy, I'm happy.
Success. Yep.
And it went out. It went down without a hitch. We had a few technical
Absolutely.
issues in the beginning, but it
Yeah.
all worked out. So I was very happy to see my boo all happy and having fun. Whatever.
Yes. I'm still thinking
Yeah,
about them meatballs. The meatballs
baby, them
last night.
meatballs was good.
Girl. And they were big. It wasn't giving like the baby
Yes.
shower meatballs that were like this.
It's
No,
like
it
they did it
was.
by hand. Like they actually like molded
What's
them,
the
seasoned
recipe?
them, marinated it. That
I need
cabbage
to
was good
know.
too. The
It
cabbage was good
was.
too,
And the rice. And the
baby.
mac and cheese.
All of it.
Dang.
All of it was good. All of it was good. Yeah. I
I
need the
very much
catering
appreciated it.
information. I need the catering
Absolutely.
information. Like, please send me the
Listen,
info, please.
and my parents be cooking, but these people, they did what they needed to do.
a good job.
They
They did a
did.
good job for
Yes.
sure.
Well,
Yeah.
let's get into these topics.
And
Well, it's
speaking
only
of
one topic.
friendships,
Oh yeah, girl. Speaking
and
of
speaking of
friendships.
friendships,
So I had already had on the docket at some point for us to talk about friendships and how they
hmm
change as we become adults and what like forming new friends or making new
yeah.
friendships, what that looks like, or mourning old friendships, what that looks like.
Mm,
And then here we go with this
mm.
situation on a well-known show called The Real Housewives of Atlanta. You know,
She gave me the tea before we started recording, y'all. So I'm not
girl,
lost.
yeah, and she gonna watch the.
And I'm
Here's
gonna
the
watch it
thing.
tonight.
I don't even watch the show. I watch the clips on
You get
Instagram.
on my
I do.
nerves.
I
Stop it.
know. I don't be
Stop.
having
Watch the
time.
show. Watch the
No,
show.
I will. I have Peacock now, so
Oh
I'll go
gosh.
back and I'll watch everything. It's just the sitting down at the appointed time. Sometimes I just be like, I'm not there, and then I forget because I'm doing other stuff. But I'm gonna watch it because this season is
Please.
actually pretty decent.
She was like, I don't watch the show, but she know all the details. Like it
I
doesn't.
do.
I
I
don't
do.
understand.
I
I don't
do.
understand.
Listen, sometimes you gotta work smarter, not harder. Okay. I get the tea that I need to get. So in the most recent episode that came out last night, there was kind of like the culmination of a situation that had been brewing since the beginning of this season. So for those of you that don't know, and if you don't know, I don't know
What
what is
rock
the
you under?
demographic here.
Right. Or what rock you're under?
What rock are you under? Exactly. So Real Housewives of Atlanta is a reality show. It started off with a bunch of wealthy housewives that lived in Atlanta. Now it's just a bunch of wealthy black women. Some of them are
Fighting.
wives, some of them are not fighting.
I'm about to say barely. They barely married. Yeah.
Exactly. So Candy Burris of Escape fame, the writer of No Scrubs and many other hits, owner of several restaurants in the Atlanta area. Most recently, Tony
Candy coated night.
Award, Candy Coated Nights, Bedroom Candy, uh, the Candy and the Dungeon Tour. What else? She was most recently nominated for a Tony Award last night, and she was there at the award. She looked really good. And then another cast member named Marlo Hampton, who was introduced, I believe, in season 2 or 3 of the show as a friend of the show.
Yeah. Then she
Somewhere,
officially got her
sometime
peach
early
this season or last season.
last season.
Okay.
So she's now a full-time cast member. Now, Marlo and Candy have history, this kind of frenemies or a legitimate friendship situation. At one point, because of Marlo's past, Marlo has, history with the law. Um, it was kind of making it challenging for her to be able to become a full-time cast member. So Candy and Todd, Candy's husband, got her a show on WeTV, the WeTV network. And the show never happened because Marlo was like, no, I still want the option of being able to be on Real Housewives of Atlanta as a friend of the show. I was like, girl.
Give me my own show, child.
Okay. And Funky Diva was going to be on there as like a friend of the show, etc. Like, she did not only mess it up for her, she messed it up for other people that were going to be associated with the show. So Candy and Todd were already like, okay, girl, I don't know how I feel about you after we did all this work for you. So there's that. The current issue is Marlo had a nephew that used to work at one of Candy's restaurants named Old Lady Gang. And back in 2020, that nephew passed away. He was killed by gun violence, apparently by his roommate, who was someone that he had met at Old Lady Gang while he was working there. The roommate didn't work there. He was just like a patron of the restaurant. So Marlo was claiming initially at the beginning of the series or the season that when her nephew passed away, she reached out to Candy and was like, hey, do you remember my nephew so-and-so? He used to work for you at your restaurant. And Candy was like, oh man, let me look him up. But you know what happened? And so Marlo told her he passed away, and Candy was, very sympathetic. According to Marlo, she was like, that's all she did. Just, sending her sympathy by text message. She didn't send a card. She didn't send flowers. Nothing. So now fast forward to last night's episode. If it's one thing these producers gonna do, they gonna find a receipt, child. And I said, wow, what a
I love
receipt to have.
receipts.
We
I love
love
receipts.
receipts because sometimes
Love
it's
them.
your truth, my truth, and sometimes the real truth
Is in
we're not gonna
between.
find out until we see the receipts. Okay, so they pull out this never before seen footage from 2020 where Marlo sends that text to Candy. Candy responds, etc. But then Marlo goes over to Candy's house in person, to the main house, not to the guest house, to the main. So that's how you know that's real.
Mm-hmm.
Main house. And she sits down with Candy and Candy's daughter Riley, and they talk about the situation about her nephew passing at that time when it was still fresh. And Candy is sitting there and empathizing, sympathizing, extending her condolences in person, and even relates to Marlo because she lost I think her brother to gun violence, and they were, bonding over that. So now, again, fast forward to current day from 2020, and Candy is like, I don't understand what the issue is. Like, I was there for you. What more did you want me to do? And Marlo's like, you didn't send a card, you didn't send no flowers, da 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 da. So from that, I want to talk a little. First of all, let me know what your thoughts are on that situation, and then we'll go from there.
Because I haven't watched it, I'm gonna keep it very short. I just think because it's definitely gonna segue into the other topic. You can't expect a you out of everybody. That's the
That's a
first thing. People
fact.
love to say, "Well, I would have did this." Okay, well, that's you. Like
Mm-hmm.
I may not address the the issue the same way you would.
Mm-hmm.
Now, being as though I'm someone who's experienced tremendous loss,
Mm-hmm.
half those damn cards went into the trash at some point, except for certain people that send me the cards. But if I don't, again, we're only saying what we see on TV, but from my
Yeah.
understanding, they're cool, but they're not besties where they're doing
Right.
things off screen and they when they're not recording they hang
Yeah.
out, they're not in that space. So I wouldn't be expecting much from her other than what she gave, because she gave me enough.
She gave
She
a
gave me
lot.
enough. And I feel like if you calls her a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
this is another thing, let's take the steps back. A lot of times people grieve or they go through something and they want to internalize it, they want to deal with it on
Mm-hmm.
their own.
Mm-hmm.
But for me in my house, Daphne, my best friend, I will call her.
Yeah.
Sarah, I will call you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When I feel away about something, I'm going to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, if I need somebody to be there with me, they understand where I am. They understand how I
Absolutely.
feel. They know how to console me.
Right.
They know how to be there for me because I've expressed to them what's going on with me mentally or physically. So you
Mm-hmm.
can't expect someone to automatically know what to do for you if you're not communicating that.
That's facts.
Simple.
Mm-hmm. And another thing to kind of add on to that, we were talking about this a little bit before we came on, is that I think the expectations were maybe not unrealistic, but going back to the communication part of things, I think Marlo, either from what we've seen of her,
Mm-hmm.
receives love in a different way than she was getting it from Candy. And as a
Yeah.
result, she didn't feel like Candy
Yeah.
did anything. Like there are some
Yeah.
people whose love languages, their top love languages are gifts and
Money,
words of
money, money,
affirmation. Okay.
money.
And so if you give them a hug during a difficult time, they're like, what is that?
Yeah, I
Whereas
want
for
you to give me
somebody,
something.
exactly. Whereas for somebody whose love language is physical touch and quality time, what Candy did would have been
Mm-hmm.
more than enough.
Right.
But again, given what we've seen of Marlo, known of Marlo, Marlo is about the Fendi, the Prada, the Gucci. She's about the things.
Stuff that don't matter.
So I mean, I'm not gonna say that because that's her
I,
life.
I, I said it. I'm gonna stand from what I believe. I don't believe that material things matter. They
Yes,
shouldn't. They shouldn't hold precedence in any situation. To be quite
especially
honest.
in a situation like this where it's like
No.
what
Yeah.
you actually need is that physical comfort. But
Yeah.
again, I don't even want to say in Marlo's defense, but I can see where it could have gotten cloudy because of how
Mm.
she receives love. She wanted a card
Yeah.
and a flower. She got a sit down and a hug from Candy.
Yeah. And some words of encouragement.
Yeah. So again, going back to that communication, it's like you got to, and when you're grieving, it's hard to do that sometimes, to really be like, this is what I
Yeah.
need from you right now.
Yeah.
Sometimes you aren't able to really vocalize that. But then
Yeah.
moving on to like the next part of it now, if you go through a tough time like that in a friendship, how do you move past that? Apart from communication, like, is that I guess for you, would that be something that would cause you to end a friendship or reevaluate a friendship if someone didn't necessarily console you or they weren't there for you in the way that you needed them to be in a difficult time?
I might be too understanding, right?
Mm,
Because everyone's life experiences are different, which also
mm-hmm.
equals how you react to certain things and how you move in different situations.
Sure.
So I can take it back to like when my brother passed away. That was I've experienced death prior to him, but he was one of the closest
Mm-hmm.
persons I've ever lost in my life. I was 17 years old. He was 26.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what type of support I needed at that time. I didn't
Right.
know if I needed a hug, a Twinkie. I didn't know what I needed. I didn't know
Not a
what I
Swinkie.
needed. I was angry. I was pissed. I was
Mm-hmm.
mad. I was, lashing out at people. I was I was not the best person around that time.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to my mom passing away. Again, my brother passed away in 2003. My mom passed away in 2009. So I had
Mm-hmm.
some time in between, but in my head, it was like days apart,
Yeah.
you know? So I go through some of the same motions, but the only difference with my mom, it was I was caring for her as well. I
Mm-hmm.
almost lost my job. I'm ripping and running back and forth from Gaithersburg, Bethesda to Baltimore, Laurel, whatever. And I kind of had a little bit more time to wrap my head around the fact that she won't be here any longer. So
Yeah.
I wasn't as reactive as far as being angry and all that, but I did turn to an alcoholic like a little bit, just a tad.
Life be lifing.
um yeah, and I just needed people to stop telling me that it's going to be okay.
Mm.
She's in a better place. Like, shut up talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Stop talking to me. And I felt like I had moments where I was looking at some of my friends like, okay, you guys could do a little bit more. Like, you
Yeah.
guys can check in on me. You guys could call a little bit more. Again, I'm in the house. I'm going through the motions. I'm getting up, going to work.
Yeah.
But once I get off work, I don't want to do anything. I'm drinking my life away. I'm crying my eyeballs out. I can't sleep. I'm losing weight, gaining weight, all type of things going on. And I did take some steps back and say, yo, like, I know that your life is still going on because it wasn't your mom.
Yeah.
It wasn't your parent. It wasn't your
Mm-hmm.
brother, you know? So I have had moments of resentment, but then as I matured
Yeah.
through
That's the
my
key.
grief, okay, as I matured through my grief and just matured in general as a woman, again, I understand that I can't expect me out of everyone.
Right.
I probably would be more hands on. Do you need something to eat? Do you want
Yeah.
somebody to just come sit with you on the couch so
Right.
you're not alone?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes people think they have to give you this big speech, long speech about grief and all
Right.
that. And nobody asked you for none of that. Nobody asked you for none of that. I
Nope.
just needed someone to maybe cry with, hold my hand, like I said, maybe help me take a bath because I was really struggling, like to the point of like even self care was
Mm-hmm.
a big thing for me. Um, so I evaluated relationships at one point and just had to understand that until that happens to those individuals that you're maybe questioning, you can't hold them accountable for it because
Mm-hmm.
people only act on what they know.
That's facts. That's
Yeah.
very, very true. And for me, I know I haven't experienced any like close loss like that, but I would say my experience, my friendship testing experiences
Mm-hmm.
have been me going through my periods of depression and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been deep, child. Oh, they've been deep.
Mm-hmm.
And very similarly, and
Mm-hmm.
part of grief for some people is going through that depression phase.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And same situation. For me though, I would just lock myself away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be bothered by anybody. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to bother anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And in those situations, when it came to friendships, I was just appreciative that people were checking on me at all.
Yeah.
And I didn't necessarily need, first of all, I'm not a needy friend in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm very much like a low maintenance friend as long as
Mm-hmm.
we communicate
Mm-hmm.
periodically, see each other periodically, and
Yeah.
those, it's a quality time thing, it's not
Yeah.
quantity.
Yeah.
So as long as
For
those
sure.
interactions are meaningful,
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. And so the fact that people like you would check in on me consistently and even threaten to pull up sometimes. I'd be like, no, you don't have to come. Da, 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 it's okay. Because I hadn't showered in a couple of days. And here I am. You trying to come see me in this very vulnerable and terrible state? Why? Um, and, things like that. And the text messages, the calls, sometimes I might not respond in a timely manner, but I appreciated the effort just
Mhm.
made by friends. And of course, family is a different thing. They gonna show up.
Yeah, at this point,
They
right?
don't care.
Well,
They
that's
do
true.
not care. My family is like, oh, you're not coming home in about 3 weeks? We coming. Open the door. Oh, we don't even open it. We got a key. We coming
Okay.
inside. We let you know, but we coming inside. So all of that to say, for each person, like you said, it is different as far as how they can relate to when a friend of theirs is going through a difficult
Mhm.
time. And it is a lot of times
Yeah.
based on their personal experiences, what they've
Yeah.
gone through,
Yeah.
how they're able to relate. And I don't think in many situations I've gotten to the point where I'm like, this friendship needs to end. But I will say that there are certain friendships where I felt like, okay, we're no longer on the same path,
Okay. Yeah.
or we've outgrown each other. And I was talking about that a little bit earlier this week, or over the weekend. That can be difficult because
Okay.
when you're like growing and realizing certain things, and I know. As you are growing and realizing certain things about yourself or going down a specific path, whether it's with your
Mhm.
career or your
Yeah.
spiritual journey or your emotional awakening or whatever, some people aren't able to get on board with that. And that can be a
Mhm.
challenge in maintaining a
Yeah.
relationship or a friendship.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that either person in the situation is bad.
Yep.
It just means that at this point in time, we're not good partners
For each other,
for each
and we're
other on
going in
this
different
journey.
places, and we
Yeah,
have
go ahead.
different, different wants and needs. And I
Hmm.
I struggle with that as far. So I think I'm a low maintenance friend unless it's my birthday.
Period. You better
If
show
I'm
up.
having some, hello, if I'm having some on my birthday and you don't come, I'm gonna have an attitude
That's
because
grounds
I,
for
I
suspension.
it
Yeah.
is because I feel like I don't ask for much.
Hmm.
I am a low. I do expect you guys to show up like
Yeah.
I'm promoting for my real estate business. I expect a
A
repost
repost.
and
Period.
I expect a referral. And yeah, I sure do. You know what I'm saying? You can repost everybody else, but you
Okay.
better repost who was Amanda B. Amanda Baldwin, the realtor. What you talking about? But
Yeah.
outside of that, I'm a low maintenance friend too. Everybody needs their space, everybody needs their
Hmm.
time. I don't need to talk to you every day. What we talking
Exactly.
about? Because the same thing we talked about yesterday is probably the same thing that's going on
Same
today, baby.
thing.
Ain't nothing happened.
Got
Ain't
nothing
nothing
for you.
happened. And I have found that now that I am trying to work on my spirituality and my walk with God, I have felt a little distant from some people because
Hmm.
they're not in the same, they're not on the same journey. And
Right.
that's okay. As long as they
Hmm.
respect that journey and
Absolutely.
they're not trying to take you off course, we
Hmm.
good. But sometimes you have to say, hey, I love you.
Hmm.
Or maybe sometimes for me, I ain't saying nothing at all because I call me immature if you want to. Because I had a situation, I think I told you about it. I'm not going to get into the details of it, but
Hmm.
I had a friend that I've known since I was maybe like 18, 19 years old. We became fast friends. We were going to do businesses together, all type of things. The story is way longer than I wanted to
Hmm.
be. We didn't talk for some years after the last incident, and we started communicating again during COVID because everybody's in the house. I had started my
Yeah.
locks at the time and made small talk with me, and I was like, you know what? In my head, I'm like, I would hope that 5 years have gone by. Just maybe,
Yeah.
just maybe. She older than me, maybe she has
Mm.
grown. But baby, she showed me who she was a long time ago, and sometimes you gotta believe it when you see it the
That's
first time. Because
facts.
that person that I thought may have left the building,
Yeah.
sure enough, returned in our last encounter. And I said that would be the last because what you're not gonna do is keep playing with me,
Yeah.
my peace, my mental, and at the time my spirituality, and at the
Mhm.
time my relationship. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So sometimes you
Yeah.
gotta let people go. You have to let them go, especially when you're you have set goals and expectations for yourself, and you have a clear road of where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
Everybody can't go with you.
And
Everybody
that's a
can't go with
hard truth,
you.
man. Because I'm very much a person like, come on, everybody, let's go. Let's do
No,
stuff. Let's go on this journey together. But yeah.
I'll leave you where you stand.
And sometimes you really got to do that.
I will leave you where you stand. I don't know if this is because of again, I am a person who likes to see good
Yep.
in everybody. I will stay in a situation way longer than I need to. The signs will be there.
Mm-hmm.
Like here, my face.
Not nose to nose, show.
Baby, nose to nose. We're smelling each other's breath at this point. And I'll still be like, you know what? No, they can grow. They have to want to. And I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know this person they have to want to grow too.
Yeah.
I can't want it more for you than you want for yourself. But I'm always staying in situations way longer than I need to.
Mm.
Way longer. Because I want to see the good. I wanna have hope. I wanna pray that one day you'll see the light.
Mm-hmm. And
But
sometimes, yeah.
it don't happen.
I'm a firm believer that sometimes
She'll cut you off. Don't listen to words that's about to come out of her mouth. She'll cut you off, baby. And send you a cute little text message or a call before she cut the plug. But baby, you out of there.
Listen, like she said, take what I'm gonna say with a grain of salt because yeah, my cutoff game is very strong, and I will say it beautifully.
She sure will. I see some of the text messages.
I will say it beautifully, and
amazing.
But I will once I say what I say, that's the end, and there's no negotiation.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'll give one example. This is not a friendship thing, but it's more of a relationship thing. So my very first relationship, I've been so slow to do everything. My first real relationship was when I was 21, and I was in med school, and I was dating this really, really cool guy. Rest in peace. He has since passed away. But we were together for just about a year, and towards the end of the relationship, again, I'm in med school. This ain't no play. I gotta study. I gotta work. Yeah. I have to rest. And he was really supportive for the majority of the time, but towards the end, I remember specifically, and we're gonna get close to wrapping it up because Amanda got to sleep.
No, you did. I'm doing
okay, cool. I remember close to the end of the relationship, I had gone out of town with my family to New York. And then we were on our way back, and it was 4th of July weekend. And I was like, man, I really want to spend some time with my boyfriend before I have to get back into the hustle and bustle after this 4th of July holiday. So I'm communicating with him the whole drive back from New York. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? I want to come see you. Da, da, da. He was like, oh, yeah, we're going to National Harbor to see the fireworks. So I was like, okay, bet. We should be back like right in time for the fireworks. I'll drive over there and meet you. And he was like, okay, cool. And then I was, trying to keep communicating with him. He kept getting shorter and shorter with his answers or not replying. But I was like, listen, I told him I'm going. So we get back to the house. I jump out the minivan first. Upstairs to my room, I'm changing my clothes. My mom was like, what are you doing? I'm going to see my boyfriend. I'm going to spend time with him, We don't have as much time because of the. And my mom, my mom was like, you better stay behind in this house. I don't know what you're trying to do. I said, no, I'm going to see my husband. I'm going to see whatever that sound is. I'm happy to see my husband. So I get myself together in my little 1993 Honda Accord.
Okay.
And I am driving up to the National Harbor, honey. Again, trying to make sure that he knows I'm coming. He's not answering. He's not replying to my text messages. Okay. So I drive. I get to the parking garage and I'm like, hey, where are you guys? And at this point in time, the National Harbor is still relatively new and I hadn't been there, frequently. So I didn't know where everything was. So I asked him where he was. Not replying. So I'm sitting in the garage in my car for about 10 minutes until I decided, let me call this man. I call him. He's not answering. So then I text him. I'm like, hey, I know you're with your friends, but you know where y'all are. You know where I'm at. I don't know where you are. Can you come to the garage and get me so, we can, hang out with your friends? He's like, No, I don't feel like coming to the garage to get you. Oh, I said, oh, okay. And then I continue to ask. I'm like, I continue to explain. I said, you know that I really made an effort to try to come and spend time with you, et cetera, et cetera. And he's like, yeah, but I'm with my friends. Da, da, da. I'm like, you're with your friends. Okay, cool. So I get in my car and I leave. I go home. On the way home, I'm on the phone with my girls. I'm like, you will not believe what this man said and did to me. So I take a couple of days to process and think it over, pray, you know. And I told him a couple of days later, I said, you know what? I don't think this relationship is going to continue to work for me. I don't take kindly to disrespect, and I felt like you disrespected me in this moment. And there were other things that were going on as
Yeah.
well that were smaller, but that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back for me.
Mm. It always be that little
And
straw, baby. It
it's always
always
a
be that
straw.
straw, baby.
It's always a
Ooh,
straw.
child. It always that straw, honey.
The straw.
Child.
And I said, uh, we're no longer together. And
Mm.
he was upset for months afterwards. He was trying to
What you
call
want me to do
me.
about it?
His father was calling me. He was like, I think you made a really rash decision. You know, you guys are really great. So I said, has anything changed? Oh, okay. Then sorry, not sorry. I wish him all the best. It's not gonna be with me. And fast forward, he got married, had kids. Beautiful. Beautiful. But what I know is that I wasn't going to I it's something within me, like deep
Yeah.
within me, that is just like at the first sign of anything that looks suspicioso, I'm out the door. Whoa, I can't
I
do it.
wish I had that in me. I really do wish I had that in me.
You are a kind
Because
hearted.
I
You're a cancer. You a
am,
cancer.
and I just love to love, and I want to see the good in everybody. But I wish because I'm cutthroat when I'm pissed.
Yeah.
Like when you done pissed me off, and I done, in my opinion, given multiple opportunity and chances and leeway, space, air to breathe, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Once you piss me off, then I got I
All
can
the smoke.
all the smoke. But initially, I don't have that. I don't. I've
Yeah.
been abused by just platonic friendships.
Yeah.
I've been abusing, romantic relationships. I've even been abused by some of my family because I'm
Mm.
so, willing to look the other way,
Mm-hmm.
forgive you, give you another chance. Because again, in my head, I'm trying to be godlike,
Okay.
you
But I
know.
say this all the
But
time.
right,
Which God like you trying to be? Because the Jesus I
yeah,
know was out here
he
scrapping in the
gangster.
streets with the
He was and flip.
Sadducees.
He sure was. And you know what? And now that I'm in my word a little bit more, I fully understand that Jesus did not play.
Mm-hmm. He was
Okay,
all
about
loving, all
yeah, but
powerful,
she
etc.
made
But
him mad because he showed her who I was talking to somebody the other day. I was like, Jesus flipped the tables in the
he sure
temple because he
did.
was pissed off. He's like, Jesus flipped the tables. I said, in the Bible, he flipped tables.
It's
He
right
was
there.
pissed, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, okay, I need to be more like my God.
Mm-hmm.
Don't play with me.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna be nice, but don't play with me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I need to embody that, but in a godly way. I still need to
Absolutely.
embody like, okay, I care about you, whatever. But this just doesn't work for me anymore. This
Yeah.
doesn't work for me, where I'm going, the things I need, etc. So I don't keep getting beat up emotionally and all that because,
Mm-hmm.
baby, I'm drained.
Yeah.
Baby, I'm drained. And it's okay to mourn. We have that on the other thing to talk about as well.
Absolutely.
It's okay to
Absolutely.
feel a way about the friendships. It's okay to feel, a way about not seeing them, talking to them, and not having them in your presence and hanging out with them. It's okay. It's part
Mm-hmm.
of losing
Human
someone.
experience. Yep.
Like I guess she broke up with me, but I just lost a friend last year, which
Mm-hmm.
honestly is one of those friendships. I was like, girl, my girl, like I ain't gonna sit here and argue with you.
Right,
But
right.
and she had to do what she had to do for herself. She felt like
Absolutely.
we weren't meshing the way we needed to mesh anymore. I wasn't. We don't believe in the same things. She believes in these rights. I believe in these rights, and she stand firm. I stand firm. I was like, all right, okay, girl.
Yeah.
By all means, by all means, boo boo, do your thing. And at first, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I know I'm a good friend. Ultimately, I have my problems. I'm not
Yeah.
always consistent with my friendship. my side of the friendship either,
Same.
because we're all human. We have things going on, so I can't always be there for you when I'm trying to pick up my daggone pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that I probably have done some things that maybe hurt her feelings, and maybe I was too harsh at times because I'm very straightforward. Child. I don't have no chaser. But at first I was like, "This did she just tell me we can't be friends no more?"
Mm.
Excuse me, ain't nobody ever broke up with me like that. Especially no friendship,
Sometimes,
platonic friendship. I'm
yeah.
never like you tried it. And at first I was like, okay, I'm not gonna be mad about it. But a couple of weeks later, I'm like, yo, this girl really does set up on this phone on FaceTime talking about woo 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 woo. And I felt the way. So I
As
had
you
to take the
should.
moment to mourn it, rehash the conversation a few times, re, uh, reminisce on the good times we had. But then also,
Mm-hmm.
I just sit there and look at it. Okay, I can see where she was going with it. I understand why we can't be
Mm-hmm.
friends anymore. I see what she's talking about.
I want to speak to that point after you're done. Go
Yeah, I had to say, you know what? She had a point. I was again holding on to something that did not serve me anymore because
Mm-hmm.
I thought that I needed her. But my life has not changed since I have not spoken to her in over a year.
Mm-hmm.
My life has not changed. Has not slowed down any process, anything.
Yeah.
So it's okay to mourn. It's okay to feel, to question things and reflect and have a moment.
Yeah.
But you'll be all right.
And there's a couple of things I just want to say to that because what you just described was mourning in a healthy way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think for a lot of people, whether it's friendship breakups or relationship
Mm-hmm.
breakups, they can lean towards the unhealthy way and
Yeah.
toxic things
Preach.
to mourn, whether that is, substances. I know,
Mm.
I'm getting
Mm.
whether that is substances, whether that's throwing themselves into work sometimes, whether that's displaying unhealthy behaviors
Yeah.
in different ways. And sometimes I was watching the ultimatum, Queer Love.
Mm-hmm.
And in that situation, it got so toxic for one of the couples that it was like, my safety is at risk. I
Mm.
gotta go.
Yeah.
Because in your effort to try to keep me in your life, you are displaying very, for lack of a better word, dangerous behavior in one way or another, whether that could be physically, emotionally, or otherwise. And I want to add everybody that's like that to the prayer list right now.
Please. Oh gosh.
Y'all know we have a running prayer list.
Okay. We
And
do.
I want to move them to the top of the list because that, again, coming from me, a Libra, I try to see things on both sides. That has to
Yeah.
be a very difficult space to be in, to feel like because of a situation ending, you, like, that's the end of everything. And again, I'm basing this off of the TV show, but I'm sure a lot of y'all out there,
Triggered.
a lot of y'all out there can relate. That has to be a really difficult space to be in as the person that may be on the receiving end of the breakup.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and I know it can be challenging. Again, I was talking about this on Instagram the other. I ain't never been broken up with. I'm always the one to leave, so I don't
Mm-hmm.
100% understand or relate to how that might feel. But I've been fired. I know what that feels like, and it don't
It's
feel
the
good.
same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's somewhat in the same realms of things. So I've been fired
So
too.
yeah,
I've been
and
fired too.
I can only imagine how challenging it is when you've invested a lot of time and
Yeah,
energy,
energy.
and
Mm-hmm. Yep, and
but
then boom, you
yeah,
out of a job, out of a relationship. It
yeah,
feels like it does. It can feel like it's over. And it can feel like this. I would never have this
with
type of
anybody else
love
again,
or
yeah,
opportunity or whatever again. And it's just not. That's just.
not the
It's not the case.
case.
You
That's
will
true.
always remember that type of that pain, and that situation, and that
Mm-hmm.
experience. But again, ultimately, I truly believe you grow from
Ooh,
everything.
child, not my
I
camera,
tr-
child.
I truly believe you grow from every situation. Even if it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't feel good in the moment, you're gonna reflect years later and like, you know what? See how much stronger I am because of that,
Mm-hmm.
or see how my outlook might have changed because of that. See what other opportunities were given to me because of that.
Yes, yes, yes.
In the moment, it's always going to feel like, oh, a dagger in the heart. But
Absolutely.
you grow, you
Mm-hmm.
grow and you move on. And that's
Yep.
just life. And, I got to get, spiritual real quick because at the end of the day, this life is temporary.
Absolutely.
And this is not where we're going to be forever. So therefore, we need to focus on where we're trying to be when this earth
Mm-hmm.
is over,
Yep.
and staying in situations and crying and feeling woe is me is not part of that. It's not part of that journey at
Mm-hmm.
all.
Take your
So
time to feel what you feel.
yeah, of course.
Absolutely. Mourn
Yeah,
when you need
but
to
don't
mourn.
stay there. Don't
Don't stay
stay
there.
there. Don't
Yeah,
stay there. Don't stay there. It's very
absolutely.
unhealthy. And this is speaking from
That's big
experience.
facts.
Experience, yeah. Okay.
Vocal stylings of the rich aunties. Period. Every episode you're gonna get one. I'm gonna post at some point, maybe after the season is over. By the way,
This is the second to last
yeah, episode of season 2,
episode for the
guys.
season, y'all.
So
We're gonna take a
enjoy
little
it.
break.
We're taking a little summer break because we too are human. We have
Yeah, we
things
be
that we need
working.
to do. Yeah, exactly. Amanda's getting
Yeah.
ready to really get into the thick of her real estate, and
Yes, I
I'm going to be
am.
studying for a recertification exam.
Amen.
And in Jesus' name, success on both ends. Okay.
Period. Client on top of
So
client. Referral
yeah.
after referral. I'm not playing with
Period.
y'all.
Period. Period.
Okay. Referrals.
And
All right.
ma'am, if you get your license in Virginia, by the time I'm ready,
That's
listen, I'm making some
that's
changes
next.
within the next year.
I actually want to do DC next.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's fair.
And if I'm not licensed by the time you need, I work with an amazing group of people.
Wonderful.
Amazing group of people at the Fulcrum Properties Group. So therefore, if
Put your
I
ad
get it
out there.
switched
Put your
to you,
ad out there.
you
What's
understand what
what's
I'm
the name of the
saying?
group? What's the name?
Fulcrum Properties Group. Thank you. It's a team of us. We cover Maryland, DC, and Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
So feel free to give us a call, look us up on our website, get to know us as agents. But as
Yes.
I was saying, if I am not licensed in Virginia when you're ready to move, I actually just met one of my teammates Sunday, and I believe he
Mm-hmm.
said he's licensed in Virginia as well. So
Nice.
he's great.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're gonna wrap it up there for this episode. I
Yes.
know it's been a long and intense one, but I think it's
Yeah.
a necessary conversation. I feel like
Yeah.
it was therapeutic. This
Yeah.
is a therapy
It
session,
was. It
child.
was. It be like that. And
Mm-hmm.
like my last closing thought is we didn't really touch on it. We don't really have time to touch on it right now.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes when you have to leave a relationship, platonic or romantic, it opens up doors for new ones.
That's
And there's
facts.
nothing wrong with making new friends and
Mm-hmm.
starting new relationships as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're very
Yes.
fulfilling. And case in point, TJ and I met as adults. We did not know each
Yep.
other as kids. We did not grow up in the same church. We did not grow up together. We met in our mid to late 20s.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, we did. We did.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wasn't 30 yet when I met you. I was late 20s. You were mid
Mm-hmm.
20s. The friendship didn't blossom until some years after, but again, we had that space for it, and
Yeah.
we've been cooling ever since.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Period.
So there's nothing wrong with making new friends, baby. Get
Mm-hmm.
out with the old, in with the new. You be blocking the
Sometimes that's what you
blessing,
gotta
hold on to a
do.
situation that
That's
was
true.
dead years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
Listen,
with
open
that
your
being
hands,
said,
release it. Yeah. With that being said, go ahead, girl.
okay. With that being said, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Rich Aunties podcast. We truly do appreciate all the support, all the
Yes.
likes, all the reshares, all the comments. We
Yes.
truly, truly, truly appreciate you guys for the support. Okay. And
Let
we
me
will
look
see
at
you
our YouTube
again.
page real quick. Hold on, before you close,
Oh,
because our last video
we don't have that
we
subscribers.
don't. But
Come on.
our last video did get a decent amount of views. Oh, in my estimation. Hold on, I'm about
Okay.
to pull it up.
Excuse me.
Um, because that clip that I posted, it got people talking.
Oh,
No, what are you
I gotta
doing?
chill out before I get canceled.
What do you mean?
I'll
You
be
were
going in, y'all. I'll be going in.
you were
I'll be
speaking
going
the
in. I gotta
truth.
chill out before I get canceled.
Okay,
I'm
let me
very
see.
blunt and honest, and some people can't take that.
They can't. They can't. I'm trying to hurry it up. So 49 views. That's a lot.
That's good. That's good for the new
Listen,
channel.
yes, we got 49 views on our last video. And that was an hour-long video. Okay?
And keep it coming. Keep the
Amen.
views coming. We appreciate it. But
Yes.
until next time, as always, I'm your host, Amanda B. You can find me on
Yes.
Instagram at Who is Amanda B, Twitter, Who is Amanda underscore B.
And I
And
am
that's it.
TJ. I am TJ. You can find me everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, at Dr. Johnson's Takes, Dr. Johnson's underscore takes on the socials. And yeah, y'all, that's all we got. We ain't got no more.
We ain't got nothing else. We will see you guys in another episode.